I've been saying this since the beginning of the year. I'd be happy to see Bitcoin being at 35,000 to 40,000 by the end of the year. I think that's very reasonable, and I still think we could get there. I've been saying that since like January. Not one person quoted it, and then, you got all these guys that's quoting like random people on Twitter that no one knows about, right? What's the deal with that? CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, Daily Hodl, all these guys. They'll quote everyone else except me. There's like a bias against me. Even though I like to say I think I've been the most consistent out of anyone out there, right? I don't FUD. I don't go up and down. I'm always bullish because I truly understand what Bitcoin is all about. All these other guys, they're just reading lines. That's really it, right? So right now, like I said, Bitcoin does not care about U.S. markets. It's outperforming the Nasdaq S&P and for this year, and you go all the way back to August 2020. Someone likes to remind you guys that he made the right decision, right? Who's that? Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor, he made a decision to go all in on Bitcoin, right? Even though his cost average is still higher than what Bitcoin's price now is. But had he bought anything else, bonds, silver, gold, had he threw all his money into NASDAQ or S&P 500, he would be way down compared to his Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the winner, okay? It's how you win in life. It's how you win with preserving your wealth. And Michael Saylor figured that out right before everything started going higher, right? And right now, Bitcoin has decoupled away from S&P and NASDAQ, and it's just doing its own thing because it's not a stock. It's not a tech stock. You can't treat it like a tech stock, okay? Because it isn't one. It's digital gold, but so much better than gold. So I think people get that confused. A lot of Wall Street get that confused. That's why you see this correlation with equities and Bitcoin sometimes, because they tend to buy and sell both at the same time. But that's because they don't understand. People that do understand, long-term holders like you guys, and now the big institutions, they're starting to realize, okay, we can't treat it that way. That's stupid. Why would we want to trade this thing when it's so scarce and so valuable? The strategy is to just buy and hold as much as you can. Why would you want to trade this? Right? There's only so much out there, and it's getting more and more scarce every single day. So I'm kind of like Robert Kiyosaki in a way where I understand you want to buy Bitcoin, right? You don't want hyperinflation to take your buying power, to rob you of your buying power. So listen to this. Many people think hyperinflation means prices are going up. Well, it does. Prices do go up, but at an unsustainable rate. Okay, hyperinflation means purchasing power of your money is going down. Yes. So if you're holding large amounts of money, or even not large amounts of money, what you could purchase with that goes down because of inflation and hyperinflation. So that's why you need to hold assets that can outperform inflation. Unfortunately, gold and silver do not. So that's why I don't recommend buying gold and silver. They're still at the same price like 20 years ago. Bitcoin, however, has gone up 1,000,000% within the last 10 years and will continue to go up and up and up because it's the scarcest asset we have and most decentralized asset we have. That's not going to change ever. So that's why you want to buy something that's scarce. You don't want to trade it. You certainly don't want to short it. You want to buy and hold, and that's really the end game. Okay, that's what you do. All right, what else is there? Let's look at some charts. Let's look at some of those lines. Well, according to Mustache, this is what he predicted, that, yeah, October is already planned. You have these wedges, sometimes channels, right? Bitcoin breaks below and then pumps right back up, right? It does look very similar, yes, to previous cycles. Although all cycles are not exactly the same, but they tend to, have similar movements. Here's another one that's actually very uncanny, but also shows the similarities. This one is using angles, okay? You can actually measure the angles of recovery and angles of the parabolic run. So you can see the parabolic runs in these previous cycles, the candles went up 71%, okay? And in recovery from bottom, it was about 39%. So this guy, hopefully he's drawing his angles right, but it looks very similar. our recovery from our current bottom 15,000 up to where we are now 28,000 has been moving at 39%, just like in 2020 when we recovered from 3,800 all the way back to 10,000. And then what happened afterwards? We went up at a 71% angle, and we're going to do that in 2024. Watch out. Watch out. I don't know where Bitcoin is going to end this year, but I think 35,000, 40,000 is very reasonable. And if we build upon that in 2024, we might end 2024 at 100,000. We'll break through our previous high for sure, I think, in 2024. And then 2025 is when we go from 100,000 to who knows, 150, 200, 250,000 by the end of 2025. It's about to start. Your patience is going to get rewarded. This is why we DCA and HODL and accumulate, right? While things are low and scary, everyone else gets out, and they may laugh at you. But when things go up, that's when the FOMO train starts. And that's when they stop laughing at you and they start asking you for your advice. Should I get in now? Should I buy some Bitcoin? Should I buy in Pepe? Should I buy in some sheep? You don't want to be part of the herd. You want to be a leader, right? You want to go against the herd sometimes. As for the number of HODL coins, just, like expected, just skyrocketing. Retail investors, long-term holders will continue to HODL and DCA. And now we're starting to see institutions come in. Institutions like BlackRock and Fidelity and Vanguard, they're purchasing up what they can right now because they're playing catch up. But they have enormous amount of money too, right? So they could catch up really, really quick. And they could overtake one day what the retail investors have. So that's why you don't want to let them take all of your Bitcoin away. Again, there's only going to be 21 million ever. 19.8 million has been mined out. There's less than 2 million that will be released in the next 100 years. Think about that. So everything that exists out there is basically what's out there. And if they are buying billions in the OTC market, there's only so much before the exchanges run out. You don't want to wait for that day, because when you try to buy Bitcoin, when there's very little left on exchanges, it's going to be like over 500,000. It's going to be at like $700 or $1 million each. And you don't want to wait for that. You want to buy now when things are low. And, it's all relative, right? When I say low, we're at 28,000. Yes, it's low compared to the previous high, 69,000. But it's not low compared to the 3,000 that Bitcoin was at in 2020. A lot of you guys took advantage. But in my opinion, we'll never see those days again. We'll never see Bitcoin below 4,000 at 3,000 again, right? In the future, when we go up to 250,000, we come back down maybe to 50 or 60,000, we'll say the same thing. Well, I'll say the same thing. We'll never be at 15,000 again. Will we be at 28,000 again? I don't know. Maybe not. It's one of those things, just like real estate. Once the time has passed and you lost your opportunity, you're never going to get it back again, right? You'll never be able to buy a city block in Manhattan, for example. That's just impossible. But, in the 1900s, when it was farmland, yeah, you could buy it for nothing. But now you're buying it, you probably pay $1 trillion for a city block. It's just not going to happen. It's just going to be the same thing with Bitcoin.